Hey everybody, Steve here. Thank you for joining us. We are continuing our series on the names of God, and today we're talking about how God is called the God of all comfort. And that's found in 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 3. And if you're following along in the book, that's on page 74. And we're going to be talking about the book of Ruth and how God's comfort is found in the book of Ruth. So, the book of Ruth, it begins in the town of Bethlehem, and this is hundreds of years before Jesus was born. The book of Ruth is in the Old Testament, and it starts out with a woman named Naomi. And the name Naomi means pleasant or happy. So just keep that in mind for what happens a little bit later in our story. So Naomi was married to her husband, and his name was Elimelech. And they had two sons, Mahlon and Chilion. And everything was going fine until there was a famine in the land, and they ran out of food. And so they decided to go to the land of Moab. So they packed up their whole family, and they left and went to Moab. And while they were in Moab, their two sons got married. And they married Orpah was one of the women, and Ruth was the other one. So far, so good. But then the story turns a little bit sad, because it says that Elimelech died. That was Naomi's husband, so he passed away. And then it says 10 years later that Naomi's two sons also died. So now all that's left is Naomi and her two daughters-in-law. So we have to change Naomi's face here. So Naomi is now very sad. So at this point, Naomi decides that she's going to go back to Bethlehem. And she tells her two daughters-in-law, "You might as well just stay here, because why should you come back with me? I don't have anything to offer you." So Orpah says, "Okay, see you later." So Orpah stays there, but Ruth, she decides to go back to Bethlehem with Naomi. And she says to Naomi, "Wherever you go, I will go, and your God will be my God." So they go back to Bethlehem. And when they get to Bethlehem, some of Naomi's friends come up to her and they say, "Hi Naomi, welcome back." Well, Naomi responds and says, "Don't call me Naomi anymore. Call me Mara." Now what's going on with that? Well, remember I said that Naomi meant pleasant? Well, Mara means bitter. And bitter, when I think of bitter, I think of something like this. This is what somebody looks like when they're bitter. They're all upset and they're angry, and nothing can change their attitude. They're just bitter and angry. So what does Ruth do during this time? Well, Ruth decides to work in a field and gather some grain, and Ruth picked a field where there happened to be the owner of the field, and the owner of the field was Boaz. And Boaz noticed that Ruth worked very hard. What happens next is that Naomi tries to get Ruth and Boaz to like each other. And if you want to read the details on that, you can read Ruth chapter 2 and 3. It will tell everything that happened. But in the end, Ruth and Boaz do get married, and they have a baby boy, and they name him Obed. So Naomi is no longer sad. She's pretty happy because of that. And you would think that the book of Ruth would end by talking about how Boaz and Ruth had their baby boy, and they lived happily ever after. But that's not what it says. It says that people started coming up to Naomi and telling her that they were happy for her, and they called Naomi blessed. It doesn't talk about people coming up to Boaz and Ruth and congratulating them. And in fact, it says that Naomi took the baby boy and put it on her lap. And this is how the book of Ruth ends. It's kind of strange. It's not her baby boy, it's Ruth's baby boy. But yet the book of Ruth focuses on Naomi. And this is where the God of all comfort comes in. Because remember, at the beginning, Naomi, she was happy, she was pleasant. That's what Naomi's name meant. And then she said, "Don't call me pleasant anymore, call me bitter." She was upset. She wasn't comforted. But now she has been comforted by God. So in the book of Ruth, a lot of sad things happened to Naomi, right? But she kind of forgot that God is the God of all comfort. Instead, she got all upset and angry and bitter toward God. So the next time that you have something sad happen, there's nothing wrong with being sad about those things, but just remember that God is there to comfort you, and we can comfort each other as well. All right, that's it for our lesson today, and I'll be praying for you guys because I do know that there's a lot of difficult things going on in life right now. So talk to you later. Bye.